2, 1, 2. Hey. Hey, 1.
I would ask.
Karanga te rā, karanga te rā, karanga hia te ihi o te rā. Kia hui te ora, kia hui te marama. We te kino te pō, kia pūrangi aho te kōrero, tākari te haiata. Ka ao, ka awatea, hora hia te ao marama, ti hei mauri ora. A te tuatahi, me wehi ki iho ai te wāhi ngaro. Nāna nei ngā mea katoa, a whaikororia tōna ingoa tapu. E mihi atu ana ki a te kingi tū heitia, e noho mai rā i rongi i te ahurewa tapu o tōna whaia me ona mātua tūpuna. Te kāhui a riki, tainui, nui tonu, a pai mārire. E rere takiwana ngā whakaaro ki te ao wairua. Kia rātou, kua takahia te ara ki te pūtahitanga o rehua. Nō reira, e ngā mate huhua o tēnā marae o tātou. A haere, a haere atu rā. A waiho mā te kōrero, tātai whetsu ki te rangi, mautonu, tātai tangata ki te whenua, angaronoa. Nā ko te pō ki a koutou, ko te ao mārama ki a tātou. E te tihi o ngā puke, e te tihi o ngā tāngata, e te huinga, tēnā hui tātou katoa. E mihi ka wake tēnei ki a koutou, e aku rangatira. Kua tai mai, i rongi te kaupapa o te rā. Nau piki mai, nau kake mai. Whakatau mai rā ki tēnei rā, e whakanui a. I a koutou, oti rā i a tātou. I raro i te kaupapa o Rise2025. Koutou, no ngā rōpū, e toru. Me ki, tahi, tōpū, koutou kohiwa, nā koutou tēnei rā. Koutou, i whakapeto ngoi, i whakaheke te wera, kia oti, e nei o ngā mahi, tēnei ka mihi. He tūwhakaiti tēnei i mui a koutou, ki te whakarangatira ake o koutou mahi. Tēnei mātou, kua huitahi nei, i raro i te kaupapa, te maru o Rise2025. I roto i tērā katika, me mihi ki te māreikura e Rachel, nau te kitenga. E ki ana te kōrero ki te kahore he kitenga ka ngaro te iwi. He oi anō, nau te kaha, te ihi, te wehi, kua tōhaina mai tēnei o ngā kaupapa, kia mātou o tira, ngā iwi take take. Huri no i Aotearoa, whakawhiti atu, ki ngā mautere o te moana nui a kiwa, tai atu ki te whenua moe. E te rangatira, te mā reikura e Rachel, me pewhi rā e rite ai, e au te kōrero mau. Tō kaha, tō maia, tō manawa nui, ka mau te wehi. Nei mātou, katoa, e tuku mihi atu ki a koe. Mo tēnā taonga i tā koha mai e koe a kia mātou. I roto i tēnei o ngā mihi, ka tika ki te aro atu ki tō hoa mahi, a Janine. Nāna e whakaruru hau i a tātou, mai tā wāhi, i roto i tēnei mahi te whakaako. E Janine, tēnei hoki ngā mihi ki a koe. Nau i whakarangatira i a mātou, kōrua tahi ko Rachel. Ka nui te mihi, ka nui te aroha ki a kōrua. E te whānau, e mihi kawake tēnei ki a koutou, i whai wāhi, i whai kaha mo tēnei o ngā kaupapa. Ko tēnei tau, he rereke i ngā tau katoa. Ko pēhi nei mātou, i raro i te mate huakito, te mate karauna. Engari, ka whai hua mātou, ka whai angitu. He rereke e tēnei o ngā mahi, te kōrero i rongi te rorohiko, e hara i te kanohi ki te kanohi, engari, ka tae e tātou. E ki ana te kōrero, a te kui ariki, a te puia, me he mea ka moimoia hau, kua hau anake. Me he mea ka moimoia tātou, ka taia e tātou. Nō reira, e te whānau whānui, ka taia e tātou. Kaore au e torongi ngā mihi, engari, he mihi tēnei kia whakarangatira ake i a koutou. Me o koutou whānau e tautoko i a koutou, me o koutou mahi. O rātou kaha, o rātou tautoko, ngā pau tuara i a mātou nei, e te whānau, tēnā koutou. He oi anō e te iwi, he kupu tēnei nā māua ko tōku hoa rangatira a Kes ki a koutou, a kia kaha, a kia maia, kia manoa nui, tēnā koutou, a tēnā koutou, huri noa, tēnā tātou katoa.
E te iwi e whakarongo mai, kia kotahi rā. E te iwi e maranga ke ai, ki te kaupapa, i waiho ake rā. A kui mā koroma, ko te mea nui o te ao, ko te whakapono, me te tumanako, me te aroha.
Mai a maranga te rangi e tuiho nei, mai a maranga te papa e takoto ake nei. Mai are ki roto, mai are ki waho. He uru ora, he uru ora. Tīna toka te manu ora ki te whakatipua, manu ora ki te whakatawhito. Ho mai te mauri ora. Ko te ore i te pū, i te weau, i te aka, i te tāmore. Tēnei te ora katupu, tupu nunu i te ora, tupu roro te ora. Rere mai te mauri ora, ka uru ora, e hai. Hui e, tai ki e, Mauri ora ki a tātou.
Mauri ora kia tātou katoa. Te mihi tuatahi ki tō tātou nei kai karakia. Tēnā koe li. Kōrua ko tō hoarangatira Kasna. Me tō whānau ki te wai pounamu. Tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou katoa. Mā lo le suifua, mā langi e mamā. Whakalofa lahi atu. Mā lo elelei. Kia orana. Nisam Pulavanaka, hello, bonjour, and aloha. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā hauwe whā, nau mai ki tēnei rā whakanuia. Welcome, and thank you for joining us to celebrate the 5th year of Rise 2025. Today, we celebrate by bringing together our Indigenous communities from Samoa, Fiji, Vanuatu, Kanaklifu, and New Caledonia, and many tribes and peoples throughout Aotearoa, and what a wonderful thing it is to celebrate together. Welcome to the families and friends that have supported you in this journey, and congratulations to all our graduates today. Thank you to our hosts, Pacific Media Network, and we are here in the heart of South Auckland in Manukau City. And what a beautiful welcome and a beautiful place this is to be today. My name is Hinemoa Ki, and I'm of Te Arawa, Te Rarawa, Ngāti Maru, and Samoan origins. And I'm joined by the most awesome Saolo Suamasi, and we, together, have the honour of guiding us all today through the celebrations of each and every one of the signature Rise programs today, starting with Tahi, then Tōpū, and then later on, Hiwa.
Kia ora koutou katoa. Again, welcome to you all on this virtual graduation. As Hinemoa said, my name is Saolo Suamasi. My parents are from Samoa, however I was born here in New Zealand. I come from the village of Whangali'i in Upolu. My village here in Aotearoa is the capital of South Auckland, Otara. I was born and bred there and I still live there, and I represent Otara as well. So kia ora to everyone. Just before we move into our awards, just a couple of Zoom etiquette. You'll notice that you can't use the microphone function on your Zoom, mainly because some of you might get too excited, push it and then scream and yell to awhi your whānau, and then we can't move forward until we get the virtual security guard to escort you out of the virtual room. So that's why the function's there, but go ahead and scream as loud as you want for your whānau that are graduating today. In case of an emergency, make sure that you know your emergency plan from wherever you're zooming in from. So just because you're at home, don't forget, just make sure you know where the doors are, all that sort of stuff. And finally, please, if you're going to go to the bathroom or you don't want us to see anything that we shouldn't, please turn your camera off when you go and do that. You don't want to be that person that goes viral to the world. So just want to warn you about that. So sit back, enjoy the graduation of the Rise 2025 graduates of 2020. You can also use the emoji function and the chat function. So let's practice by giving us a virtual round of applause. Start pressing those hand clapping emojis, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's start. Rise 2025 is the vision of founder Rachel Petero to transform the lives of 100,000, not 100, not 1,000, 100,000 Indigenous women and their whānau by 2025. Rise 2025 is where culture, capability, and community come together. Rise 2025 offers 3 developmental programs focused on coaching, which is the Tahi program, leadership, which is the Tōpū program, and commerce, which is the Hiwa program. As we all know, 2020 has been a challenging year for all of us due to COVID-19. Today we acknowledge the mahi that all of the graduates have completed to get to this point. Despite the COVID-19 challenges, today not only do we celebrate the achievement and recognise, but we also recognise the resilience for those who are graduating today.
Whakatei lava saulo. So, let's begin celebrating all of you actually. So we're going to start today with the Tahi program. And Tahi is the Rise2025 International Coach Training Program. And it's delivered in partnership with Janine Bailey, who is the co-founder of Empower World. And the Tahi training program is all about becoming an Indigenous coach who is also internationally recognised through the ICF program. So it's my pleasure now to introduce you to the very first wahine to attain her international accreditation as a Rise2025 Indigenous coach. Now we're going to hear from Natasha Willison-Reardon, hailing from Waikato, Maniapoto, Ngāti Rārua, Ngāti Toa. Natasha has taken coaching to her communities, to her whānau, to her family, and has been transforming lives through her cultural practices as a Māori wahine. Her use of kaupapa Māori practices and mātauranga in her husband's building business with men is a testament to her courage and her application of coaching across every part of her life. Join us now as we hear more of the journey that Natasha Willison-Reardon has been on. Kia ora, Natasha.
Kia ora tātai, tēnei te mihi ki a koutou katoa. Ko ai ahau, ko Natasha Willison tōku inga no te tai hau auru. Well, just a quick message from me. Rachel contacted me to ask me if I could do a little bit of a kōrero just about my journey. And yeah, I'm so proud and honoured to be a part of the first cohort to come out of the training with Rise2025. So tēnei te mihi ki a kōrua, Rachel rawa ko Janine. It was beautiful to get to know you both and beautiful to get to know all the girls that came on the journey as we embarked on this coaching journey. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and just say to you all, well done, and he nui tēnei mahi, the mahi that we have got ahead of us in terms of sharing the coaching and validating that the way that we do things as Indigenous, as Māori, tāne and wahine, that we have this place in our world, and that coaching is a beautiful thing. It's an amazing thing to be a part of. I know on my journey with my own coaching business now, Natasha's Coaching and Mentoring, I've been able to help many whānau just navigate through how the mind works. So I guess those are some of the critical things that I learned from this program when I came through it some years ago now. And I know as I journeyed through, I knew that once I came out, my journey would still continue. And so, yeah, my journey has. And like Rachel, designing Indigenous information and programs, that's where I've been putting my energy in, is running my online programs that run on a monthly basis, and I also do one-on-one coaching. But my biggest focus is doing the hub. And it might not sound that Indigenous to you all, but I can tell you that it is. This month we're working on E Oke Anei Te Oke, and that is about doing the things that we need to do to get to where we need to. So we're going to be learning about habits, what patterns we've created since We were only little and could have been from inside the womb as well, the trauma that our mum and our families may have experience while she was carrying us, and going through that and learning that those patterns don't need to take over our life, and that once we understand them and we find them and we identify them, then we can really work through them. So I'm excited about sharing that, and I'm excited for all of you coming through and also graduating through this program to take your step into this place, into this sphere of life coaching and becoming an expert in your area of coaching. I'm so proud of you all, and I can't mihi enough to Rachel and Janine being, even though we don't see one another much, I often always check up and just follow yous on, Facebook, and check out how how you guys are doing. Sorry about that. And I love your guys' journey, and I love everybody else's journey wherever they're going to, and whatever they choose to go into. These tools, the learning never stops, but these tools and the new tools that you will design and bring to light that will work with your specific clientele will be no doubtably amazing. So enjoy your journey, and enjoy the coaching, enjoy where it takes you to, enjoy the self-learning that we do ourselves. The biggest mahi is keeping on to do the mahi on ourselves. And when you learn to do the self-coaching, and you learn to coach yourself through all these experiences you're going through all this suffering that we can go through, created by how we see the world and how we think, you will be able to pick yourself up and notice when you're going into that space, so that you can become the most powerful coach, life coach that you were designed to be. And what I always say to Rachel, is that there isn't competition in there for all of us, is that we bring something new and something unique to the table that no one else can bring, and that is you. So whatever you bring to the table is unique, and it's going to be amazing for those people that you are tapping out to, because I'm telling you, there's enough mahi for all of us to enjoy and do this work amongst the people that we are working with and the communities that we are working in. We're all in different places and we're all in different spaces. And so, make your mark, plant your po, plant your kakano, wherever it is that you need, you see yourself moving into, and you just go for it. And know that your journey is going to be like this. Our tupuna called it the wiwi wawa, and I teach about wiwi wawa, that actually wiwi wawa is not a bad thing, that actually we need to be, it's like a pivoting tool, I guess. When something doesn't work, we and wawa to the space that we need to. So take care, and thank you all for your contribution to the health and well-being of our people, which is number one. Number one is the health and well-being of our people, and connecting where we need to all connect, so that we are all supporting one another to go on this journey. That is a powerful journey, because life coaching has changed my life forever. And I know that it is helping so many people. It's helping myself. I've developed some real amazing aha moments, and noticed a lot about my own judgments, my own fears, the way that I self-sabotaged back in the day, and still doing it every now and then, and that I know that coaches need coaches. So just because I've been a coach for some time now does not mean that I don't need a coach. I always need my coach to help me to see things that I can't see. So tēnei te mihi nunui ki a koutou katoa, and enjoy your journey. Well done, and hopefully one day I'll be able to meet your kakite.
Nā koe, Natasha, and thank you so much, for taking your training, your unique skills, and your indigeneity out into the world to serve others. Kia ora. Ka whai. So now we're going to move into acknowledging the graduates of the Tahi program. So, Tahi, let me tell you about Tahi. Yeah? So Tahi is our international coach training program in partnership with Janine Bailey, co-founder of Empower World. And right now we're going to acknowledge the graduates. There are 5 graduates this year in this graduation of the Tahi program. There are 3 levels, and today we're going to start with Aro Taumata. If you have graduated in the Aro Taumata program, you have firstly completed the Rise2025 Indigenous Coach Training. And you have also gone through a program with the International Coaching Federation to become an internationally accredited coach. So congratulations to you all. Many hours, and I think it's really important to know that you can't do this work alone. So I know as we announce the graduates, they will also be thinking of and acknowledging those who have been with them and will continue to be with them throughout this journey. So the graduates in 2020 for Aro Taumata, first of all, from Ngāti Mahanga, Waikato Tainui, congratulations, tēnā koe, Amy McLean. Kia ora, Amy. Also, from Ngāti Hineira, Uritaniwha, whānau whero, ko tēnei te mihi ki a koe, te miringa mihaka. Kia ora te miringa. Also, Aro Taumata graduate for 2020 from Ngāti Rangitahi, Ngāti Maniapoto, Tristan Cameron. Kia ora, Tristan. And finally, staying in the South Island and opening up our day today with her husband Lee Luke from Ngaitahu, Te Rarawa. Congratulations, ngā mihi nui ki a koe, Kasna Luke. Kia ora, tēnā koutou. And now I'm going to ask someone really special to join us as an Aro Matawai graduate. So hara mai koe Saulo Suamasi, and congratulations from the village of Whangali'i, Upolu, Samoa. Congratulations, Aro Matawai graduate Saulo Suamasi.
Thank you, Hinemoa.
Kia ora. So congratulations, Saulo. And we heard from Natasha, which was really amazing about what her journey was like. And we've both gone through the Tahi training actually, which has been really special. And I wonder if you could share, just something about that training. What was that doing the Tahi Rise2025 Indigenous Coach Training? What was that like for you?
Awesome. Good question, Hinemoa. A couple of short things to share. I think first of all, in terms of the self-awareness that came about throughout the training was amazing because it contributes to my leadership roles in the community, at home, and I really appreciated how the coaching workshop really helped me to dig deeper, process deeper, and try and understand and realize that I am the master of my own journey and that I need to take 100% responsibility for my own actions. So in terms of my self-development, I felt the growth there has been amazing, and it's only the training part. And second of all, I couldn't have done it without the people around me, especially with Janine and Rachel and their leadership and their drive and their vision to support Tāne in this space. And second of all, to my ropu, the boys. Very, very awesome to meet these Tāne from all over the country, not only to build this relationship within the program, but after the year of Zooming and not Zooming and all the challenges of meeting up, to get to this point for me has been amazing. I couldn't have done it without them. And also to my beautiful wife, Yoka, and my family. They also contributed to me getting to this point. So I look forward to my tānei rōpū graduating in the next session, next graduation. They're almost there with the paperwork and stuff like that, but you know, that's the way we roll. As tānei, paperwork is one of those things we need to continue to work on. So yeah.
Oh, amazing, Saulo. And yeah, you were one of the first tāne to do the Rise training. Yeah, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And in fact, you may well be the first graduate, tāne graduate. So, ngā mihi nui, kia koe, te rangatira.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Ka pai. So yeah, beautiful acknowledgement too of the idea that we do this together. Yeah, we do this with the support of our whānau, of our ainga, and of our communities. So kia ora. Ka pai. So now, you know what is really cool about this Rise celebration for 5 years since it's Rise 2025 has been founded, is that we get to share many voices with you. Rise 2025 is global. And so people are coming to you from all over the world, all over the country. And now we really want to introduce, and you may have heard her name throughout the proceedings this morning, we want to introduce an amazing wahine, Janine Bailey. Janine is a master certified coach with the ICF, as well as a mentor coach, a coach supervisor, and a trainer, an amazing trainer. Janine and Rachel actually met in Qatar in the Middle East, after which Rachel joined the Empower World approved coach training and leadership program to become a credentialed coach. And I just want to mention, I think Rachel did that in the fastest time ever, something like 6 months. So it was through this friendship and process that Rachel actually saw her vision of Rise 2025 and asked Janine to support her with providing the ICF approved coach training program. Through Janine's Australian Aboriginal aunts and cousins, Janine has an affinity and connection with supporting Indigenous women and men to find their own truth and way forward that is authentic to ourselves. Janine says that being part of the Rise 2025 program is one of her greatest experiences in life, and from the perspective of her own learning, connection, and growth. So, have a listen to Janine Bailey.
Kia ora, no mai haramai. Tēnā koutou and congratulations on reaching wherever you are on the journey of coach training or the Rise 2025 coaching programs. And wherever you may be on your journey of personal and professional development, we believe you are where you're meant to be. There is no right or wrong. And as one of my mentors said to me, life rewards action. And your decision to join the Rise 2025 programs and participate means that you are very most likely getting exactly and receiving exactly what you want and require, whether that to become a credentialed coach, a coach in training, or a leader adding to your kite, or someone who has wanted to experience coaching and to learn these powerful and beautiful skills of coaching, which includes communication, building deeper and beautiful, empowering relationships, and so much more. I believe the world needs more coaches and leaders like yourselves in these days of huge global challenges in relation to our equity, climate, health, biodiversity, and again, so much more. And I believe the people across the world needs an appreciation of how connected we all are, especially to whānau, the whenua, the rangi, and all things living. This is one of my biggest takeaways about the Rise 2025 work, the strong connection and deep respect for all the things around us and within us. I believe we are all connected, which is what I've come to experience through Rise 2025. And I truly appreciate each and every wahine and Tane, who recognize these skills of coaching belong to each and every one of us, and we can incorporate them in our own unique and cultural way, or recognize the customs and skills already within us and our communities, which can be expanded across every context of our life. Ngā mihi for choosing Rise 2025. I'm so truly grateful for meeting Rachel and creating the coach training partnership, where I've met so many courageous wahine and tane who are making a wonderful and powerful difference in the world. I'm also very grateful to have the opportunity to work with each and everyone on the Tahi program. I've learned so much, and it has enormously enriched my life. Words cannot express how thankful and grateful that I am. Please keep expanding your minds. Stay curious, open-hearted, vulnerable and courageous at the same time, trusting that you do have all the answers inside, even though at times it might seem difficult. And of course, keep imagining the world as you truly want it to be. Sending araha to each and every one of you as all leaders in the Rise 2025 and beyond communities. Kia ora.
Puri anei e te hau, horohia, horohia, e te ua. Whiti, whitia, e te rā. Mahia ake ngā poraruraru. Makere ana ngā here. Erere, wairua erere, ki ngā ao, o te rangi. Whitia, whitia, e te rā. Mahia ake ngā poraruraru. Makere ana ngā here. Makere ana ngā here.
Kia ora again. Thank you, Hene Moa, for announcing our graduates. Thank you to our guest speakers. So that was the first part of our 3 presentations today to our graduates. Just wanted to check in to make sure everyone out there in the virtual world is okay, and that you're enjoying yourselves, that you're practicing those virtual applause and sending messages of awhi to your whānau. So the next part, we're moving on to our next group who are part of the Tohu program. Before we get there, I was just thinking about a couple of things about preparing today and how important it is for us as Indigenous to work hard, even harder, to get to these positions of decision making. And this is a personal reflection, given the journey that I've been on with the Tahi program. So those who are watching, those who feel like you need more support and growth around your leadership to move up into these places of decision making and leadership, don't forget to get in contact with Rachel at Rise2025. Somewhere on here the website will be there, but the testimonies today that you will hear and the graduates, you'll know how important it is for your own growth development. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of the tohu program. We'll go into the certificates and then we'll go from there. Okay, so a little bit about tohu. Rise2025 is proud to present tohu, our Indigenous Leadership Development Program. We serve emerging Indigenous talent through a cultural and kaupapa Māori lens. Leadership from the inside out starts with understanding you. Be the leader that you want to be. Serve your people, your communities, and your teams. So, congratulations to the following 16 graduates of the tohu program. I'll read out their name and their iwi affiliations. So, our graduates for 2020 Rise2025 tohu program. Christine KONI from Ngāti Porou. Cinnamon PUNA from Ngāti Hako and Ngāpuhi. Ihipera Joyce from Ngāti Hine, Raukawa, Tapuika. Jade Joseph from Te Arawa. Jasmine Wilson, Waikato Tainui and Ngāti Ranginui. Jen Debon from Te Ati Haunui a Paparangi. Jennifer Gale from Ngai Tahu. Jodie Watene from Ngāti Tāne, Ngāti Mahana. KAELA Harrison from Te Arawa. Kate Te Morenga from Ngāpuhi. Kiriata Royal Taiao, Waikato, Ngāti Raukawa, Marutuanu and Ngāpuhi. La'a Tamarau, Ngai Tūhoi. Ray McPhee from Te Arawa. Rawina Te Aungira Gibbons from Ngāti Porou. Cherie Pedersen from Ngāti Tūwharetoa. And Tania Wilson, Ngāti Kahungungu and Ngai Tahu. Again, congratulations to our 16 graduates from the Rise2025 tohu program for 2020. I don't know how fast you can push the hand clapping emoji, but if you try, we might be able to hear it. But, you know, awesome accomplishment and achievement from these wahine. So, I think we're going to... We're just waiting for Zita. Okay. So, part of today's graduation is that it's international. So our next guest speaker will be zooming in from the beautiful islands of Samoa. I'm just waiting on a cue to make sure I start and introduce this amazing leader from Samoa properly, because I'm Samoan and she's an elder of mine. So I don't want to get any harsh words from my dad for pronouncing her name incorrectly or not representing her. So she's logging in from Samoa, and I can't see, and we're ready to go. Okay, so before I introduce him, before we're just trying to get Zita logged on. For those of you who are zooming in from international waters, I hope your internet connection is working well, because the last thing we want is me or Hinemore frozen on your screen and a real weird facial, and that you take photos and then spread it on Facebook. So, it's November now. The year is nearly ending. COVID-19 seems to be the one thing that has really caused us to work smarter and harder. And I think I remember that one of the main beneficiaries of COVID-19 has been the Zoom people. I think they made millions from all the Zoom meetings going on around the world. But we had to work smarter and harder and try and keep connected, especially when we couldn't do it kanohi ki te kanohi. Zoom or those other platforms were the only way where we stay connected. And for our graduates today to get to this point throughout the year, using Zoom and any other methods of communication has been an awesome achievement. We've still got a lot of people who are in the process of completing the programs, and if you join us next year, you'll be able to see those who will graduate from these programs. And like I said earlier, if you really want to develop your growth and leadership, then please get in touch with Rise2025. I've just been given the okay that Zita has joined us. So before I formally welcome Zita, just a bit of a background about this amazing Samoan woman. The transformational work of a Renaissance Pacific Island woman whose colourful, bold and courageous life is as intricate and interesting as the fine mats of Samoa. Waimasanu'u Zita Martel is more at home being an educator, a coach and a mentor to youth and women full of promise and hope for their future through her Zita Martel Fautasi legacy lessons on the longboats of Samoa. Her work in personal empowerment and development started in 2001 when she broke age-old tradition and became the first and only woman skipper in a traditional sport for men in longboat racing. Waimasanu'u Zita Martel is legendary, as the champion longboat skipper for over 20 years in Samoa and American Samoa, because she wins most of the time. Her mastery of the sport has earned her huge respect from the men and women of Samoa locally and worldwide. Waimasanu'u Zita is also the owner of her own tourism company, Polynesian Explorer, founded in 1994. In 2014, she plunged into the world of apps in her quest to solve a pain point in logistics. This app has earned 5-star ratings on both Apple and Google. Waimasanu'u Zita is a high chief, a gold medalist in the Olympic sport of archery in the Pacific Games, Consul of France in Samoa, a decorated officer of France's National Order of Merit, and the recipient of the prestigious Star of Oceania for her courage leadership from the University of Hawaii. She is a powerful advocate and a person of influence against the abuse of women and children in Samoa. Her most recent Fautasi or Tour Challenge race in November of this year in longboat racing was with her first all-women's crew in the history of the sport. This shone a light on the fight against domestic violence in Samoa and smashed barriers for Samoan women in the sport. This historical and momentous race, where they raced against the men's longboat teams and came second, epitomised her powerful work in empowering women to become fiercely courageous warrior women o toa. Waimasinu Usita is the wife of French-Canadian Francois Martel and the mother of 4 sons, Xavier Paulo Alo Alo Lelo, Thierry Faitala, Gualame To'osavili, and Yannick Vaeleonatia. Ile mamalu o le tātou tai au, ia mua ana whaatalofa atu i loa whionga Waisanuu Zita Martel. A whio maia tala mai a ao i le moa tēnei. It is my absolute pleasure and honour to introduce our guest speaker for today, Waisanuu Zita Martel.
Whaftaila wai lawa whionga i le taitai o tātou saunina o le ne tai au. Tēnā koutou, malo lelei, whakalofalahi atu, bula vinaka, kia ora ana, tālofalawa. What will the world be like in 20 years, 50 years from today? What will your daily life be like? What will be the items that you, the emerging leader and entrepreneur, will surround yourself with? 50 years ago, people imagined how the future would look like, that we'll be living in glass prism worlds with bullet capsules whizzing past skyscrapers, and we'll be working in underwater towns. Well, our underwater towns will eventually, I hope not, become a reality, submerged and gone because of the ocean claiming our islands. And if you have seen the 1968 movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, this movie predicted that at the turn of the millennium, Americans will be living on the moon and have frequent Pan-American commuter flights between the Earth and the moon. Well, that hasn't happened yet. But I am confident that 50 years from today, we as a species will still be inhabitants of this beautiful planet, Mother Earth. The challenge is therefore on you, our new graduates. You are the hope of our future. You are the dreamers, the entrepreneur-minded, the outside-of-the-box thinkers who find solutions for problems in your lives and dives in deep to solve it, to satisfy your curiosity, and to bring food to the table for your family. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. And that's from the book of Jeremiah. What this biblical phrase says to me is that God has you in his embrace as you start your brave new voyage as leaders and entrepreneurs. You're going to need it, my sisters, because after the euphoria of graduation comes the test of your business. Because believe you me, you will be tested beyond your limits. You will experience immense highs and tremendous lows. Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers, but most of all, surround yourself with those who see greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself. This is a crucial lesson that I have learned, and it's crucial in your life as an entrepreneur and as a leader. Do this now if you haven't done it already. The theme of your graduation or our day today, reimagining the future, is a must if we are to survive the challenges of climate change, of pandemics, and an economic meltdown we're currently experiencing. It takes immense courage to become an entrepreneur in turbulent times such as this, where you depend on yourself and your business idea to earn a living. My online business coach and mentor, Dr. Avis, has a saying that when you can spot opportunity in the eye of chaos, you will always eat. So spot those opportunities in the middle of crisis. Be the entrepreneur, be the thinker outside of the box. So a successful online business coach, an entrepreneur and sought after thought leader, this lady challenged me, and she peels back the layers to the gifts that I have within. And she relentlessly makes me commit to monetizing these gifts successfully. And I would say that Rachel Petero, your coach and mentor, has had that effect on you as well. Someone once said, sometimes our mission in life finds us when we put ourselves in a position to be found. I used to think about myself as a self-made woman in my 30s. I no longer think that. I'm not a self-made woman. I stand here with my heart full of gratitude for the many people who came into every season of my life and left a mark on the fabric of me. 26 years ago, I set out on my entrepreneurial journey in Samoa because I had a burning desire to be my own boss after 10 years of studying and traveling the world. In 1994, I plunged into the world of business, and took a 3 weeks intensive business course and launched my tourism company after graduating with my small business certificate. I had no sales, marketing, nor tourism degrees, but figured that I had a pretty good idea of what the international traveler wanted from a destination, because I was one myself for several years. It took 5 long, hard years of sleepless nights, juggling baby sons and a baby company before we made a profit, and eventually built up the company with a per annum average of 6,000 tourists that we brought into Samoa, with our main market being Europe. Fast forward 21 years, towards the end of 2015. My husband was posted to Fiji for 4 years as the Secretary General of a Pacific regional organization. And it forced me to reimagine the future of my company. Because there we were, my husband living in Fiji, I'm in Samoa with a business and staff, and our 4 sons are all in New Zealand, studying or working. It was not an ideal situation. I learned a valuable lesson from that pivotal year. To survive and thrive, you have to be brutally honest with yourself and admit that the business model doesn't work anymore and that it needs a drastic change, and to do it very quickly. So how did I revamp the blueprint of a business model that worked very well in the 1990s until the year 2009, when the tsunami that devastated Samoa also became the undoing of my business? That natural disaster, together with the increased use of internet, whereby tourists and travel wholesalers no longer needed a go-between company such as mine, taught me another valuable lessons of resilience and learning to control your emotions and think with the laser-sharp clarity of a surgeon's knife. Well, I didn't. I panicked. The usually bright, courageous woman became a total mess. Cancellations came in droves, and it eventually broke me health-wise. I was hurled into a downward stressful spiral that gathered momentum because I failed to listen to the trends. I failed to take time out and reimagine and put into action strategic future plans for my company. I failed to seek help from those who are successful business owners and coaches. You see, we all need coaches in our business lives in whatever stage our business is at. I felt a complete and utter failure and wanted to crawl away into a dark cave and never come out. The embarrassment I felt was excruciating. And this is another very important lesson that I learned. Our deep sense of failure is mainly in our own heads. We must learn to get over ourselves and move on. My company business model worked very well before internet. I was the go-to company that the tourism wholesalers in Europe sought out to plan, package, and provide all the services on island. But I certainly did not plan for the advent of the internet. Because once the internet became a phenomenon that was here to stay, it made so many business models obsolete overnight. You will face these pivotal moments in the cycle of your business. So how did I survive this massive upheaval to a business model? I pivoted the company to niche down to the high-end European North American markets and branded our VIP offerings around me, Zita Martel, as the brand. Because the trend of the customer wanting a personal, authentic experience from a destination fit in with putting myself as the leader, the magnet of a truly cultural experience. And then my community service work on leading and empowering young men of Samoa through longboat racing for 19 years had also evolved alongside my tourism company of 26 years and became that extra special source that made the offering so empowering and transformational for our VIP guests. Fusing the two lives, my business life and my heart-centered community service life, and niching down to small, intimate, high-ticket VIP groups and handling small top-end cruise ships of 100 passengers became for me a self-fulfilling mix of what truly mattered to me. And it showed to my guests because it was truly something that I was so passionate about, and it wasn't work. It didn't feel like work. You see, the different layers of your life that you may think are not part of your business actually is. What you're gifted in doing can actually be your signature program that will fetch you more money than you ever dreamed possible, simply because you never thought of earning money from something that you love. The mix of business and longboat racing became an in-depth seven-day cultural and indigenous experiential program that fused impactful explorations of the islands with my signature Sita Martel Fautasi legacy, leadership, and empowerment on the traditional longboat. COVID-19, or the coronavirus, in February this year, unleashed another tsunami and became the decisive nail to the coffin of tourism and travel as we used to know it. Samoa is COVID-free. Our borders remain closed indefinitely to international travelers and will remain thus for another year or two, so my tourism business is now on ice indefinitely. However, the rethinking of the future of my company back in 2015 made me appreciate, schooled, and prepared for the online world and gave me the freedom I yearned for as an entrepreneur. What was once a confused world of the Internet of Things became an obsession with me. When you're in a situation where you're stuck, you must act. You must harness the courage you have in you and commit to the changes that you reimagined your business to be in another 30 years. When I was asked by my church to take over the role of skipper of our longboat in 2001, It changed my life forever. Like I said before, I am not a self-made woman. I acknowledge and honor the women and men of my church who voted me and blessed me as the skipper of the Singapore Fautasi in August 2001, exactly 3 weeks before the Te Wila Festival Fautasi race, and set into motion a huge change in the traditional sport of longboat racing in Samoa and in American Samoa. They were also years of immense pressure, of many tears, of feeling scared in the world of fierce men. But as my warrior woman and my wise mother, Vailene Ortia, always reminded, the goal is where you set your compass. Reimagine the sport of Fautasi in 10 or 20 years' time and dare to become the best skipper of the land. You are Indigenous woman. You are warrior. You represent not only me, your mother, and your sisters, but all the women of Samoa. And I have become the best skipper of Samoa. But I would not be here today, a master skipper of Fautasi, if it wasn't for the belief that all these wise women and men had in me. They saw a gift in me and pushed me to claim it and own it with courage. And it's exactly the same thing that Rachel Petero has in you. She sees and has seen the gift in all of you, and she's pushing you to claim it and own it as women warriors with courage. On the 6th of November 2020, just less than 2 weeks ago, I stepped onto the longboat with 37 of my sister warriors and raced against 4 men's teams to honor a challenge that was issued to me by the men of Samoa. And I decided that my team was not going to be an all men's team, but it was going to be an all women's team, and thereby creating history that day for all the women of Samoa. Because I listened to my greatest mentor, my mother, and dared to reimagine the future of longboat racing 19 years ago. We came second in that race, but we won on so many levels for women of this country. You see, the power of your dreams, the power of your will, the power of your thoughts, the power of you can drive whatever it is in your heart to come true. And remember that a true leader is one who truly listens, one who captures those little details about each member of your team. The leader who goes out of her way to learn everything there is to learn about her team and surprise her team with these simple details is the leader who will have a truly loyal following of people. Because you care with such genuine openness and heart. When you're coaching, your business is growing on the 3 pillars of love, of courage, and of kindness. You will thrive. Because at the end of the day, we are human beings who are so connected technologically now, but have become deserts in emotion and human connection. I challenge you, bring back that human touch and that connectedness into your business, and it will bring you abundance and joy as an entrepreneur and as a leader. There is a famous saying in our culture, e au le'ina I lau at tamaitai. Women can achieve anything. Soifua.
What an inspiring journey, Waimasinu Sita. If I could just touch on a video clip that I've seen of you on YouTube, Tangata Pacifica, for those who are zooming in, did an amazing story on the journey of Waimasinu Sita. And one of the most powerful images that I saw on there was Waimasenu'u in the longboat, and you would have heard there are over up to 40 people in the boat doing her thing. She wasn't dressed in the conventional lycra that we see at the Olympics. She was dressed in a full pulatasi, which represents the power and the mana that she has as a leader in this male-dominated sport. So, Masenu'u Zita, Martel, thank you again for sharing your journey, your inspirational journey.
We're going to bring her back.
Yep, so we're going to bring her back with the
Respond to that.
amazing technology that we have. So we're going to Zita, live in Samoa again. Malo lava le soifua Zita, Waimasenu'u Zita. Come in, over. Just having a few issues with the wavelengths. But yeah, I really encourage you to go to that YouTube clip and see the amazing story that Tangata Pacifica have done on Zita. Unfortunately, we can't connect back to Zita in Samoa. So, I laua whionga Waimasenu'u Zita Martel, whawhetai tere lava mo le mata upumatunga whie. Manatu o tele a onga nei tai ao, ma lo lava le tautua, ma lo lava le tauatai. On behalf of all of us here and those who are zooming in, Waimasenu'u Zita Martel, thank you again for sharing your inspirational journey, the challenges that you presented for us all as leaders in our own communities. Whawhetai tele mo lawa lofa, thank you for your love. Whawhetai tele mo lau loto tele, thank you for your courage. Whawhetai lava mo lau angalelei, thank you for your kindness. Mo le tātou atunuu Samoa, for our people of Samoa and those who have joined us today. Thank you. So, these graduations wouldn't be complete if we didn't hear from someone who participated in these programs. So, for the Tōpū program, I'd like to introduce Jasmine Wilson of Waikato Tainui, Ngāti Ranginui descent. Jasmine is a graduate of the Mana Whakatōpū, the first Indigenous leadership program for wahine Māori delivered for Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment in 2019. Jasmine is an emerging talent and continues to apply her unique leadership style both in her career and in her life. She has now taken on the tahi journey of becoming a professional coach, starting her journey in September 2020. Role modeling leadership is in her whānau. She has supported her niece, Tiara Wilson, to join our Hiwa program in September 2020 also. Nau mai, haere mai.
Kia ora e te whānau, ngā mihi ki a koutou, ko ai e kōrero ana, ko Jasmine Wilson tōku ingoa, no Waikato, no Tauranga ngā iwi, nō reira, kei te mihi. So, my name is Jasmine Wilson, and I've been asked to share a couple of words around my journey on the leadership program through Rise2025, Mana Whakatōpū. Yes, where do I start? Firstly, it was such a privilege to be in that space, to learn, to grow, and to really try things on. And so I want to mihi first and foremost to my rōpū. In my group, we have wahine who are sisters, their wives, their daughters, their mothers. They are some of them nannies. And what brought us together was mahi and the program. But what continues to bring us together, and I think which is quite unique for us, is that our love and aroha for each other, and has been supporters of mana wahine and Māori kaupapa. So I just want to mihi out to all my sisters. We're a collective force. We're a powerful force here at Mahi, and I appreciate every single one of you and just the love that we have for each other. So kia ora rā, mauri ora. I want to shout out also to our facilitators, Hene Moa, your beautiful, beautiful presence, your wairoa, you're so beautiful, like seriously. Facilitating with Rachel. Rachel, you know we love you. We appreciate everything you've done for us. Our coaches, we all had coaches. Mahi te o for supporting us and helping us dive into some of the things that we may not have wanted. There might have been tears, that's what I heard. Our coaches, wonderful coaches, and also some of the people that really kind of brought their style, mihi keita. I've just love your mātauranga around maramataka, and I know we've tried to do this at our mahi, so thank you. Donna, also your mātauranga around rongoa, such a blessing for us. So there's been so many, but I just wanted to shout out and let you know that we really appreciate your time and we love you all. So I've been asked to share a little bit around my journey and leadership and what that looked like, and maybe share a couple of aha moments, some gems, and maybe leave a taonga. And so there's been so many things that I've wanted to share. I could go on forever. But what came to mind, particularly around my self-awareness and my self-learning, has been specifically knowing that I'm enough, that my style is enough. Before, I was thinking about what kind of leader should I be? Is it this? Is it that? The problem is there was no one that looked like me in my organisation. And so when I realised that my style, my leadership way, being authentically Jasmine, is more than enough. Not just enough, it's more than enough. And so what encapsulates that for me is my Māoritanga and being able to stand forward and knowing that I am enough in my style and my little uniqueness. So that was powerful for me and really moving and inspiring. If I was to leave one taonga around leadership and how I continue to try and apply that now, even after the program, it's been a year actually. And what a beautiful year it's been. One thought that comes to mind is around that I intentionally want to do is creating space for myself and creating space for others. And there's this whakatauki that I want to share, which goes, mā te huruhuru, ka rere te maru. So as we adorn the bird with the feathers that it needs, we fill its cup up, the bird is able to fly. And so for me, as I adorn myself with the things that I need, my whānau, my sisters here at Mahi, my coaching, then I'm able to fly. And so as I create space for myself, that then allows me to create space for others, and it gives permission for other people to also create their space and to stand firm in their truth. So that's something I'd like to leave. I wonder what's turning up for you as I shared that. What are you noticing? How's that landing with you? So yeah, that's my koha for today. Nō reira te whānau, ngā mihi kia koutou katoa. I'm looking forward to hearing all the stories and celebrating this event with you. Again, to Rise2025, to everyone on the team, we love you, we appreciate you, we thank you, Rachel, for everything that you do to building not only wahine, but also all of Māori. So ngā mihi kia koutou.
Tēnā koe, Jasmine. And how beautiful it is to hear from you and what your journey has been like. And, you know, I heard some really amazing acknowledgements, and, you know, I thank you. I thank you for that, for sharing, you know, something about each of us, really. And what I want to say and what I want to support is actually, Jasmine, exactly as you say, you are enough. You are more than enough. Everything that you bring, your whakapapa, your style, the way that you are taking your space and bringing others with you. And absolutely you continue to do that every day. And we're really excited, Jasmine, to follow your journey. And yeah, thank you. Ngā mihi nui ki a koe. And it's true, Jasmine, you do bring others with you. And you indeed brought your niece, actually, to our next program that we want to share with you. And you bought your niece tiara, and we will celebrate tiara shortly. So Hiwa, the third program, and it's so amongst all of the COVID-19 challenge that we were faced with, Hiwa became a reality. And Hiwa is an online e-commerce and e-coaching program, encouraging entrepreneurs to find and take their space in the world. It is a partnership with Shopify Global. And what I really loved about Hiwa is, as Vaimasa Nu'u Zita Martel spoke of, we had to pivot and we had to respond and we had to create something that kept us safe, kept us moving forward, and really kept us excited about what it is we as Indigenous women and Tāne bring to the world. So Hiwa was created, and Hiwa was 9 weeks long. It was all done online, and we had women throughout Te Moana Nui a Kiwa join us on that journey. And I want to acknowledge the constellation of Matariki stars that Hiwa is part of the whānau. 9 weeks, 9 Matariki stars. And Hiwa is the star that we send our aspirations to. And that was the basis of the kaupapa of Hiwa, to prepare us to, in the world of coaching, but also in the world of commerce, and how do we navigate that online world, because we have so much to bring and to offer in that world also. So we will be acknowledging the Hiwa graduates shortly. And before that, we are privileged to be joined now by our Ngāti Porou sister, Dr. Kiri Dao. Kiri is a lecturer and graduate of the School of Management. She is the academic director of the postgraduate diploma in Māori Business Development, and she is also the director and tuakana of Māori and Pacific Academic Success. But that's not all. Of course, it's not all. Kiri brings a unique blend of academic research, excellence, and creative entrepreneurship through her connection to her whenua in Ruatoria. She examines the cultural, economic, and psychological impact of land loss on Māori to uncover, through her PhD, why the management of Māori land is rife with conflict and challenge. Kiri's penetrating analysis of interview data generates unique insights into the intergenerational impact of colonisation. Her resultant framework, Whenua Beings, offers practical solutions for progressing Māori land development. Hooray, kia ora Kiri. Kiri Dao role models how entrepreneurship, research, Indigenous economic advancement, and global opportunities for Māori can come together through her business, Nuka, which creates high-value products from Mānuka and Kānuka directly from her whenua in Ruatoria. Are mai o tāringa, kai a koe te wā, Dr. Kiri Dao.
Kia ora whānau. Can you hear me? Loud and clear? Awesome. Ko waia hau, ko hikurangi te maunga, ko waia pu te awa ko Ngāti Porou te iwi, ko Kiri Mamai Dal ahau. Lovely to be here with you on this session, guys. I thought I would come and give some comments, some insights into my whakaaro on entrepreneurship. So I teach Māori entrepreneurship at the business school, but I'm also engaged in it as well as a practitioner. And I always start by saying I see entrepreneurship as two things, both hope and healing. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're dealing in hope, because only entrepreneurs believe that the future can be better. That's why we get into this space. So entrepreneurship to me is a very exciting, hopeful, optimistic space where we're trying to create new, better futures for ourselves and our whānau. On that journey of hope, we often have to uncover some self-limiting beliefs. We often have to uncover some of the harms and the traumas that have occurred to us, our whānau, and our communities. So it is also a process of healing. So to me, successful entrepreneurship considers those two dimensions, hope and healing. I thought I might give you some stories on my entrepreneurial journey. I guess I'm on my third kind of major venture. So I will tell you how things have rolled out for me. I went and looked at some of the businesses that are starting out from this program, and they're just awesome. They're just awesome. They really resonate with the type of work that I'm aligned with. So my first entrepreneurial venture, it was in my early 20s, and I was living in Queenstown at the time, and I was performing as a kapahaka performer in a restaurant called the Māori Concert and Feast, and the business owner there said I could start up a little shop within the restaurant. And so I sourced Māori arts and crafts to sell within that business, and I really enjoyed some aspects of it and some aspects I didn't. So I really enjoyed sourcing products. I loved going out, meeting the people who made them, finding things to stock in the shop, arranging the shop around. But one part I didn't like of that business was the commitment. It tied me to needing to be in the shop all the time, and I found that part of the business quite stifling. So you'll find with each venture, you'll have aspects of the business that you love and aspects of the business that don't give you quite as much energy. Because I was young, I also learned that I wasn't great at managing money. So because a lot of the business revenue would be handed over in cash, I would, at the end of the night, I would often go out with my friends and have a good time with it. That was my early 20s, and that was my early learnings of managing finance. So from that business, I learned I needed to develop and strengthen my weakness around money management. My second venture kind of stemmed or grew from that little shop, that shop venture. As it happened, that business moved on to another premise, and when it moved on, I didn't move with it. But I developed my second business, which was selling hakas to mostly hotels, haka performances to hotels and corporates and incentive groups in Queenstown. And that was heaps of fun. That was heaps of fun. We got to be part of a lot of fancy functions and events. I went on to grow that into Auckland, and I went on to grow that into Australia, and took on some international contracts, which led me to develop more team building aspects. What I learned about that business, from that business, was my weaknesses were in, and we probably, a lot of Māori and probably Pacific have this weakness, around taxes, PAYE, GST, all those things that you needed to be on top of. Took me a while. It took me a while to get organized and really understand the tax commitments that are required from a business. So it's always learning as you go. Yeah, that business was a lot of fun, and I did that for quite a long time, probably 7 or 8 years. But after a while, it became cut and paste, and I got sick of the rotating the same cycles, and chucked it all in and went to university and got me a doctorate. And so that led me to my third venture, which is associated with my passion for Māori land and helping whānau to realise the aspirations they have for their whenua, and currently working with native plants that have the commercial potential to sustain our communities with livelihood, jobs, and financial security. That venture has been slow for many reasons, but very fulfilling, and it's involved many dynamic components, such as working with chemical engineers, scientists, business expertise, Māori landowners, whānau, food, tech experts. So it's a lot more complex, and it's a business that's trying to solve, I guess, more complex, difficult problems of our communities, of poverty and developing capability. So those have been my three entrepreneurial journeys, and you never know where one venture is going to lead you. You start somewhere and you never know where you're going to end up. And everything you're doing now is leading to the next step that you're going to take. So I don't think I would have ever foresaw myself from a little shop owner to becoming, developing commercial products from land. I've always been a journal writer, so I've always written all my thoughts in my journals. And back when I was 18, I was reading through some old journals, and I had written in there, I want to have my own business, something to do with the land. So I talk about the knowing. Everybody has a knowing, a deeply embedded knowing about what they want for themselves. And our job is to realize that knowing, that we already know what we want for ourselves. And our job is to keep working and bring that into consciousness and make it happen. Hang on. Oh, right. I think the last thing I just want to talk about is, because this is a coaching and mentoring program, I want to talk about how important coaches and mentors are and how important they've been in my life. I probably have about 4 mentors. And they're relationships I've formed organically, people I've met that I've gravitated to, but they have made massive, massive impact and difference in my life. I often ask for a certain type of person to come into my life where I know that I need help in, and then I wait for that person to arrive. So I have a mentor, that what I call my spiritual mentor, who I call at least 3-4 times a week. And she helps to give me insight on kind of daily issues. I have academic mentors. I have a career mentor, and then I have my dad as well. So gather your team around you, and go forth. I think that's about. I think that's all I have to say. I'm just looking at myself and Hinemu on the screen, so I don't really know who's there. But I'm sure you're all beautiful, wonderful, amazing. Wahine kaha, wahine toa. So, kia ora koutou. Hinemu, what?
Ai, tēnā koe, Kiri. Ai, kai te tika koe, kai te tika. Our graduates are actually online, and they're all over the world. So, yeah, they are seeing you and I, and he mihi nui ki a koe.
I went and looked at some of the businesses coming out of the program here, and I'd love to connect with some of those people, because their products interest me.
Fantastic. And my best guess is they would love to connect with you also. Yeah.
So I love to make those connections.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and actually those gems that you just dropped on us, just like that, the hope and the healing, you know, and really describing that is potentially why and we get into being an entrepreneur, but also how we might navigate all of the challenges. I love that you bring the real kōrero, you know, what's good, what's not good, what you liked, what you didn't like. And I also maybe heard a little bit of a challenge on some of the things that we can, you know, work even more to be better at.
Yeah, entrepreneurship's a wonderful, exciting journey.
Tēnā koe, Juan. We're just about to go into actually acknowledge all of the 15 graduates of the Hiwa program. And yeah, I'll share just the names of their business as well. So, kia ora koe.
Kia ora. Thanks, guys.
Ngā mihi.
Ka kite.
Ai, ka kite anō. Yeah, so many beautiful, so much knowledge and experience coming from actually both of our guest speakers today. And Kiri is sharing, you know, that journey of her journaling as an 18-year-old and going back to that and recognizing that, in fact, she already knew. She knew back then, and she's followed that through in her lifetime and in her journey. I love also, Kiri, that you move in and out of worlds, different worlds, easily and effortlessly. And really that is the basis of coaching. The premise is that each of us is whole, creative and resourceful. And I think as Indigenous women and men, we have these skills innately. We already know. And these programs have been one way for us to explore even more what that is. And so yes, we do journal as part of the Rise2025 program. And we go on this journey of self-discovery. Nō reira, ko tēnei te mihi ki a koe e Kiri. Kai pai. So now it's time to acknowledge and celebrate to all of you at home hanging in there. Thank you, our Hiwa graduates waiting there so patiently. Congratulations on the amazing journey that you have been on. Each person had their own ideas came with their own ideas that they already had been developing, and some were starting from a new beginning. So, congratulations to our Hiwa graduates. The first of which is Lady Talaepa. Rongo mai wahine, Ngāti Porou, Tainui te arawa, tūwharetua, te ati haunui a paparangi, te aupauri, Ngāti Kahungunu, and her business is Risen Lady. Kia ora, Lady. Now, congratulations to Christian Wanesi from Lifo, Loyalty Islands, the province of New Caledonia, and celebrating her business that she has launched, Pacific Market Inc. Congratulations, Christian. Our next graduate are really connected to us through whānau, through Jasmine, and I want to acknowledge that, that special connection. So congratulations to Riria Vela, Ngā Ruahine, Te Ati Awa, Ngāti Tama, Ngāti Koata, Ngāti Porou, and her business, Rea. Next. Kapai. And also, in fact, these two came as a duet. And I want to really acknowledge that they were the youngest. They were the youngest wahine on the Hiwa program. And they came with all their knowing around technology, and they stepped into the space together. So I would also like to acknowledge Tiara Wilson, the niece of Jasmine. Waikato tainui, Ngāti Maniapoto, Ngā Puhi. Congratulations. Our next amazing wahine from Lotowhanga Samoa, Pūlotu Siteine Yoka Peta Siulepa. Congratulations. And then another Samoan wahine, amazing, just had her reservations at first, I would say, like us all. Like part of what is being shared today is that fear is part of the journey of growth, and so is challenge. And so we want to acknowledge now Natalia Achong Ahim from Vailima, Safotu, Samoa, and her amazing business, Pele Creations. Congratulations, Natalia. This next wahine travelled the world actually under COVID-19 restrictions, and she travelled to Australia to support her daughter at this time. And I just want to say she logged in from wherever she was, the airport, the car vale, anywhere. And I really want to acknowledge your commitment. So Misepa Edwards, congratulations of Ngāpuhi, Te Arawa, Samoa, Sālua, Manono Tai Sili, Savai, Safotu, and her business, Eco Creators. Well done, ngā mihi nui Misepa. Now, moving on to Ngāti Kurahikawa Kawa, Ngāti Pāhauwera. Congratulations to Claire Butler. Kia ora, Claire. And please check her business out also, Tukuatu Māori Art. Moving now to Tūhoi, Ngāti Kahungunu ki Wairoa, Ngāti Whare, Meriana Tāputu. Kia ora, Meriana, tēnā koe e te māreikura. And Meriana's business is Māori Aro Coaching Solutions with a Z. Ka pai. Another really dedicated wahine, in fact everybody, have made such an amazing commitment to this program, to completing Hiwa. And we look forward to sharing and celebrating later on today. Ngāti uenuku, ngāti rangi, Maki tuatini. Congratulations, Maki, and your amazing business, Shed 24. Kia ora. And tēnā koe also to you, Donna Kerridge. Waikato, Maniapoto, Te Atiawa, and bringing all her wisdom and all her experience and coming to us from a bus or a flooded community somewhere and always being there for all of us actually, and her business, Ora New Zealand, tēnā koe Donna. We have 4 more women to celebrate in the Hiwa category, and this next wahine, Shelley Burrich. From Solo Solo, Siumu, Whalea Siu, Safotu, Va Ola Vanilla, congratulations, Shelley. He mihi nui hoki ki a koe, Jules Petley from Te Rarawa, and her business, Hoha Homewares. Congratulations, Jules. Now, travelling all the way to Vanuatu and celebrating you, Doreen Leona. Moving across now from Vanuatu to the beautiful island of Fiji. And lastly, but by no means least, the amazing, the very busy, and the, and Stella Tiko Simpson from Fiji would also come to us from many places. Whatever they had to do, they made that commitment, not only to themselves, but to each other. I just want to say it was so much fun travelling the Hiwa pathway with each of you, the gifts that you brought to the program, the ideas, and the genuine aroha and support for each other. Yeah, so congratulations, you did it. Amazing. And so now, as we have been hearing from graduates of each of the programs, and following on from the kōrero from Dr. Kiri Dell of hope and healing, we now will hear from Donna Kerridge. Ngāti tāhinga, ngāti māhuta. Donna Kerridge is a tohunga of Rongoa Māori, although she doesn't describe herself as that. The humble practitioner, tutor, and advocate is passionate about Indigenous practices that focus on healing and restoring our people and our whenua. Rongoa is a practice she learnt from childhood, growing up in a whānau that would seek their medicine from the bush and from each other. Donna is the business owner of Ora New Zealand. She shares traditional practices about our health and how nature provides a map for managing our wellness. Trained in both Western and New Zealand Indigenous health systems, the admiration for the wisdom of her ancestors has taught her that while the technology available in a modern world constantly changes, the values of her ancestors serve as a constant guide. In a world where everything is connected, our well-being starts with the whenua. Donna was a participant of our inaugural Hiwa cohort of Indigenous women, embracing e-commerce as a way forward in a COVID-19 world. Nau mai, kai a koe te wā, Donna Kerridge.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou I tēnei rā. Ko Donna Kerridge tōku ingoa. It's lovely to be able to talk to you all. I'm sorry I'm not there today. I have a prior engagement. But I want to wish all the graduates today, or graduands today, a wonderful, wonderful day. And I wish I could be there, but due to a earlier commitment, I can't make it. I just wanted to share with you for a moment the things that I found really special about the Hiwa program. For me, the most special thing were the people. People like me, real people who participated, who facilitated, who understood the dynamics of being a mama in business, being a woman in business, and having people alongside you who understood those challenges. So, ngā mihi kia koutou e hoa mā. Thank you very much to our coaches, to Rachel, Hene Moa, Amy, Panya, and the different teams that came in to talk to us and share with us. It's just been an awesome journey and very different to things that I've done before. I've done lots of personal development stuff. I've done lots of business stuff. This was so different in that it was flexible. There was plenty of room for everyone to have their say and to share and to support each other, and that I think was a real gift to all of us. I think I learnt for the first time to really enjoy the journey and not focus too much on the outcome. I already knew the outcome I wanted, but I was always racing there and not taking advantage of the gifts of people that you study with. And so for that I'm really, really grateful, and I think it is a real taonga that exists within the Hiwa program. I think one of the things that I would do differently next time, and that I think is the actual real bonus for me, is the mistake that I made, and the thing that I learnt most was, when the Hiwa program is complete, don't let go of your powerhouse, those people that you studied with, those people that supported you. I think that was my mistake, was allowing myself to slip into so easily back to my busy life and not maintaining the beautiful bonds and links that I had made with the group that I worked with. And I love you all, even though I allowed my busy life to interfere in my journey. I certainly have taken heart from all of yours, and I love you all dearly. Ngā mihi ki a koutou, ka nui te aoha. Kia ora.
Welcome back to our Rise 2025 graduation. So that concludes our 3 graduation celebrations for the 3 programs, Tahi, Tōpū and Hiwa. So this year, Rise 2025, for the first time, have decided to acknowledge a standout person from each of the programs. And this is the first time Rise 2025 have implemented these 3 awards. And these 3 awards are for standout graduates who not only completed the program, but implemented what they've learned not only in their whānau, but in their communities, businesses, etc. So the last part of our awards are our special awards. And we want to acknowledge these 3 special people from the 3 different programs. However, before we get into our special awards, I'd like to introduce our next guest speaker. Don Mann is the Chief Executive Officer of Pacific Media Network, a public media broadcaster whose mission is to empower, encourage, and nurture Pacific cultural identity and economic prosperity in Aotearoa. Don has over 35 years experience in leadership roles across the public and private sector, including CEO of the Pacific Corporation Foundation, Head of Commercial Partnerships at Auckland Tourism Events and Economic Development, ATED, General Manager of the New Zealand Warriors, Go the Warriors, NRL franchise, and 13 years with the New Zealand Police. Don's wife Louise is an experienced executive within the New Zealand Police also. They live in Auckland with their daughters Sarah and Olivia. Don is a graduate of Massey University, a certified company director, and a trustee of the Sky City Auckland Community Trust and Literacy Aotearoa. Don also volunteers his time to the Rising Foundation and the New Zealand Tonga Business Council. Live and direct from the Pacific Media Network studios, a warm and big mā-lōlelei to Don Man.
Whakatai sau. Tēnei te mihi e ngā iwi katoa, e ngā hau e whā, e ngā tangata katoa o ngā mautere o te mana nui a Kiwa. Nau mai haere mai ki te whare o Pacific Media Network. Owhalahi atu, aroha nui atu ki a tātou katoa. E timatanga ko Waiau, ngā mihi sau ki tō kōrero i taku pānui, engari ko Waiau, ko Ngāti Ruapani ki Waikare Moana i te taha o tōku māma, ki Ngāti Kahanunu ki Wairoa hoki, ngā marae ko Hinekura i te kuha ki Waikare Moana, ngō rangi āhua ki te rohe o Ngāti Kahanunu. I he tawhaaki i eku tamai, ko ongo kui tangata, ko eku kui tamai ko Lisiati Man, mei Naiafu, ko eku kui whae, ko Vaisinea Mola Pautupau, fully vai mei Vavau. Wonderful to have you all. And if you couldn't tell, I'm a mixture of, I guess I'm a son of the Kingdom of Tonga and of the Tūhoi Nui Tonu and Ngāti Kahanui. Wow. You know, it's, last night I was actually in Te Taitokoro and I was heading back to Tāmaki Makaurau, thinking about today and thinking what I'm going to say, and one of those classic moments, hadn't written anything down, and I was thinking about the kaupapa today, whai whakaaruatia ka anamata, you know, reimagining our future. And I called in on my mother. My parents are currently living up in Ruakaka, and I called in on my mother. And it's funny, you know, I did the usual things, you know, have a cup of tea, go and see mum. And I was walking around her garden, and it sort of dawned on me all the things that she's done ever since I can remember, ever since I was a young boy. Collecting her own water, big water barrels, big tanks of water collecting off a roof. Her mara, all the kai in her gardens, all her vegetables. And I was sitting there thinking about it, you know, when we were young kids growing up in Kelston, you know, we used to think our mum was a little bit, you know, a little bit eccentric. But when I think about it now, she's 78. Hope I don't get that wrong, Mum. 76 then. This is 78. Collecting water all these years, and when you think about a lot of the kōrero now, as we've come out of COVID, and you know, especially so in non-Indigenous circles, about getting back to nature and sort of coming into our space, or coming into a thought process that has always kind of been in the realm where it's either Māori or Tongan or Indigenous people talk about. That sort of makes me laugh a bit, that Mum's been collecting water ever since I was a kid, and that's kind of trendy now. amongst people. So it kind of made me think she does that because my grandmother did that. And I mentioned my grandmother is Mabel Piti Waiwai from Waikari Moana. And I remember growing up going to her home and my grandmother and my koro wanohima collecting water for as long back as I can remember as a child in the 1970s. Having animals, growing their gardens, living off the land. And so, in some ways, you know, I used to think when I started to hear words, you know, in my university years about decolonisation, the process of decolonisation, you know, and from an uninformed base, I used to think back at my grandparents, and I can't think of the right word. I just can't think of the right. Anyway, I used to think about it, their experience, and I used to think about, well, what if that hadn't happened, or what if they hadn't been from the Maori side? What if they hadn't been disconnected from their land? What if they hadn't been moved off the land? But the interesting thing is, when I think about it, is in terms of their thought processes and self-determination of what they could control, that is, who they are, what did they connected to, what they believed in, how they directed their lives. I realised later as an adult that in terms of their thought process, they were never colonised. And so they always maintained their mana and their integrity. And even though, from a Māori perspective, they moved off their lands and moved into central North Island area around Tokoroa and Mangakino, away from Ngāi Tamatirangi, away from Waikari Moana, they never lost that sense of who they are. And the reason I mention that is I was just going to relay a couple of things about my career and what I've done. And one thing my father's always said to me, and all my brothers, is when we're at a crossroads, he's always said to us, well, what are you going to do? And often when we were faced with a decision, I always clearly hear my dad saying, never mind about this, never mind about that, never mind about what so-and-so says, what are you going to do? And to me, that speaks about what I've just expressed about visiting my mum on the weekend and my grandparents, is that irrespective of what's happened around them and what's happened in their lives, and irrespective of from our Māori whānau perspective in terms of colonisation, they've never lost the perspective of being in control of what they can control and who they are. And there's a similar story in my Tongan whānau as well, in terms of migration here, and decisions that were made in my Tongan whānau around about upholding identity and connection back to Tonga through establishing Mate Matonga Rugby League team, and there were similar decisions made around that. So what does all that mean for me? On the 24th of September 1983, I joined the New Zealand Police. I went to Kelston Boys High School. My parents said, right, done enough for you, off you go and earn a living. You know? And I didn't know what to do, so I applied for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Police, and the police came back first. So there was no great science or thought that went into it. It was go earn a living and go do it quickly. And I remember going down to the police college, and so you got to remember early 1980s, and it's not so much now, but in those days, the police was very much a family whānau institution, in that if your great grandfather, and you men in those days, if your great grandfather was in the armed constabulary or in the early days of the police, it's probably likely that your grandfather was a policeman, and it's probably likely that your father was a policeman, and then their sons, you know. And a bit later on, as we got through to the 70s, we had wahine started coming into the police. So here I am at Porirua, and I'm surrounded by what it feels like young police officers who have all come from intergenerational of police families, and many back to the armed constabulary. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? What have I done? Why didn't the army reply first? You know, and in that particular time, I remember it clearly. You know, slow things down, simple thought processes. Who am I? Who am I from? Who's come before me? I can hear my dad ringing into my ear. What are you going to do? Never worrying about all them. What are you going to do? And so I remember clearly making a deliberate decision to knuckle down, get it done, get in, get out of there. I do remember thinking about family. I do remember thinking about the old people. 6 months later, I graduated. I got the first prize. The Minister of Police at the time, Anne Herkis, awarded me the first prize. I'm not sure. I've tried to find out whether I was the first Māori or Tongan to graduate first from the police college. I'm not sure. But what I do know is there weren't many who graduated first at the time. So fast forward almost 15 years after that, probably about 18 years after that, I had a career in the National Rugby League in the NRL. And it was about February 2001. I got sent to a marketing manager and commercial managers meeting of all marketing managers and all senior executives in the National Rugby League in Sydney, Australia. It was in central Sydney. I remember clearly walking into the room, and I remember walking around, and you know, I know we all do this. You walk in the room, and you either, you look for the brown faces, and it's just what we do, you know. And I remember walking into Sydney, this big flash corporate area, walking in and going, well, okay, here we go. This is different, and then you start thinking, oh my goodness, you know, what's going on here? And so my early days of in the National Rugby League career, there weren't any, there certainly weren't any Māori or Pacific executives at that level. There were no First Nation Australian people at that time. But again, you know, think, well, what do you do? You know, and all the people who have graduated here today, you're in the same crossroads. What are you going to do now? And it's very similar. You know, I used to think back to those things. I used to think back to being 12 years of age and being on Bastion Point with my school friend Taiaha Hawk, Ngamihi Taiaha, and expressing tautoko to the people of Ngāti Whātua ki Ōrākei when I was only 12 years of age. You sit in that room in the NRL conference, you don't think about models of marketing management you learned at university. You're not thinking about principles of event management. I'm sitting there thinking about when I was 16 and my mates and I marched against the Springbok tour because we knew it was wrong. And get a bit emotional thinking about my mates. You know, 16 years of age, you're at one of Auckland's most prestigious rugby schools, Kelston Boys High School, and the Springboks come. What do you do? We knew it was wrong and we marched. And we marched against the Springbok tour. Actually, we probably went a bit too far because we also spray painted shops about racist slogans about our Prime Minister at the time too. We got caught by the police. We weren't that good at it, actually. And there've been many other occasions like this in my career. So I'm not going to stand here today and when we talk about thinking about our future to recite principles of all the corporate learnings I've had through my career. For me, it's always been very simple when I think about the future and when I think what comes of us. And you know, all those things which we've known forever, you know, it's in our whakatauki kamua kamuri, you know, everything which we hold the time has come. The time has come to grab hold of what we've always known, and what we've always known about who we are and what we believe in. You know, and even a concept today of the kaupapa of, one of the kaupapa of this program, you know, hiwa te rangi, you know, and everything that hiwa stands for in terms of thinking about our future. And so, one last couple of things is, first of all, congratulations to you all who have even taken the step to reaffirm your own process of self-determination, mana mo te hake tino ranga tūtatanga, call it what you want. The fact that you've taken the step to be part of this program, the fact that you've taken the step to claim your own space, but also, for, you know, I listened to Kiri, I listened to Zita this morning, ngā mihi kia korua, ngā marae kura. Just linking back to who we are, what we've always believed in, and taking that forward. Earlier this year, when we first went into COVID, I took some time out to listen to some of the kōrero that was coming out of some of our leaders, such as Dr. Linda Tuhawai Smith. There was Dr. Yellowbird out of Michael Yellowbird out of North America, and I just wrote down a couple of things, you know, things that they were talking about in terms of reclaiming our, or not reclaiming, reaffirming our ancestral knowledge and our Indigenous knowledge. You know, taking action, being self-determining. Who are you? Reciprocity, honouring who you are, honouring where you're from and those who've come before you. Relational, taking a long view. To me, that's innate in who we are. The beauty of what I've seen in Rise2025, it doesn't take a 5-year university degree to understand that. No disrespect to our whānau who take that course, because I've taken that course, and it's important. But you know, you don't need 5 years of a master's degree. It's just about taking action and taking control of who you are. So on that note, ngā mihi nui ki ngā mana o ngā tangata, o ngā wahine katoa o te kura o Rise2025. All the very best, and I look forward to hearing everything you do and everything you become in repositioning the future in a way that's connected to our past in the way that's always been. Kia ora.
Te aroha,
Te whakapono, me te rangi mari e, tata e,
ano,
te aroha, te whakapono, me te rangi mari e, tata e. Kia ora whānau.
Kia ora Don, malo pito toko. Thank you very much for sharing today. I am a league fan, and it was really awesome to hear the insight and hear that the brother was amongst all that corporate stuff, and the success of the Mate Matonga campaign, you know, definitely comes down to leadership, and it was awesome to hear about Don's involvement in that journey. Go the Mate Matonga and the Otara Scorpions. Never mind Queensland. Anyway, our last few awards, like I mentioned earlier, was for our special awards, and they go to a graduate from each of the 3 programs, the Tahi program, the Tōpū program, and the Hiwa program. So, it recognises the outstanding work and effort that these 3 recipients have put into their work in their community and to their whānau since being on the training with Rise2025. And we're going to start with the Tahi program. So, our recipient for the first special award of the Tahi program showed her ability to grow her coaching business since joining in 2017. She works across multiple clients and communities and continually stretches herself. Her cultural journey to understand her taha Māori value through her curiosity has been a great journey to witness and support. Ko mai te wihi, our first recipient of a special award for the Tahi program is Amy McLean. The wonderful thing about today is Amy is in the studio. She doesn't know this, but she's going to come up here and we're just going to have a little chat about her journey. So, get those virtual claps going. I'll ask my tech guy to see how many virtual claps there are, but haere mai, Amy, and congratulations on being the recipient of this first Tahi award, special award. Just a couple of questions that, you know, part of your coaching is put on the spot and ask those questions and we'll go with the flow. One of the things that stands out in this brief about you is your cultural journey. Are you able to talk to us about your cultural journey and what has stood out for you?
Yeah, it's all about asking those questions, eh, Saul?
Yes.
I think being a part of Rise2025 back in 2017, I've said this to Rachel before, it was like a bit of an awakening for me. To step into this space that was for Indigenous women, that was this amazing, incredible, safe space to try on what it means to really step into my culture. And that has been the beginning of the journey, and it has just grown since then. And I'm really excited to next year be stepping into, I've committed myself to a te reo program as well for the year. So actually really taking that commitment and learning the reo and getting to know even more about my culture and where we're going.
Awesome. You've been sitting with us in the studio since the start. I don't know if you knew what you were doing here, but anyway, you're here, and that's the most important thing. But tell us about a personal highlight of your journey in the Tahi program.
I think I walked into the Tahi program on day one really thinking that it was going to be great self-development, personal development, been recommended to me by someone else, and had a huge trust in that person. And I quickly realised that it was so much more than what I thought it would be. It was the self-awareness that came from that. It was really like unpeeling an onion, you know, pulling back those layers, redefining who I am as a person. Left my job within about 5 months, I think, of starting the Tahi program, and stepped into the space of being a business coach, and I love it. It's changed my life.
So my final question, Amy, like I said, you've been sitting here with us and listening to the speakers, listening to the names of the graduates from the 3 programs today. Is there something that stood out today that you heard that you're going to take away with you?
Oh, I think it's just been a real privilege to be able to listen to the speakers and to hear the graduates today. I know so many of them. You know, the graduates from the Tahi program, I've had the privilege of learning alongside them and working towards our accreditations together. I coached with some of those tōpū participants, which was really awesome to see them be acknowledged. And then I had the privilege of being part of HIWA as well as a facilitator and coach. And I think for me, it's just really, you know, I love the fact that we create this safe, brave space for our Indigenous wahine to step into who they truly are and how we can be more of that as we go forward. So, yeah.
Awesome. On behalf of Rise2025, well done. Congratulations again, not only on graduating from the Tahi program, but our first recipient of the Tahi Special Awards.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I want to give you a real clap. So well done, Amy. Awesome. So we move on to our tōpū program. And the recipient of this special award has not only achieved a number of personal promotions in her public sector role with MB since completing tōpū in August 2019, she has also supported other wahine from her group to grow and stretch in their leadership. She continues to champion and advocate for wahine Māori across the public and government sector, and we have seen her whānau grow with her. Miharo e te tuahine Our recipient for the special award for the Tōpū program is KAELA Harrison. So we're going to clap here. We're going to clap virtually. So congratulations, KAELA, on being the first recipient of this special award. Our final award, special award, is for the Hiwa program. The recipient of the special award for the Hiwa program is Shelley Burridge. Shelley of Aola Vanilla in Samoa was part of the first cohort of Hiwa. Shelley lives and breathes the values of Hiwa. She embeds her Indigenous culture in her business and in the way she supports other Indigenous women in business. She has been a part of uplifting Pasifika women through a network and environment of support. Congratulations to Shelley Burridge. So, well done to, first of all, to all our graduates in all three programs. Well done again, a special mention to the three special awards winners for 2020. We are now leading into the wrap-up. So I've been given, myself and the lovely Hene Moore have been given the opportunity to have a bit of a wrap-up. So for me, just when Rachel first approached me to co-MC this graduation, I just thought, sweet as, go there, do the mahi, that's it. Sitting here and listening to all the stories, the testimonies, listening to the names of the graduates has really inspired me. And if there's anything that I want to take away for today, is there are three things that stood out. And they all start with the letter R, believe it or not. I'm not trying to be like a speaker or anything, but they actually start with the letter R. And the first one is road. We've all been on a journey. We've all been walking this path. The path that wasn't started by us was started by our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors. And at this part of the road, we're journeying into a place of leadership. And that really stood out for me today through the kōrero, through the testimonies today. So road. The second one is resilience. COVID-19 has had an impact on all of us, and we will only know how much it impacted us individually. Hearing Waimasanuu Zita talk about her journey through COVID was very, very inspiring. And the fact that she stands out in the longboat racing in Samoa and her puletasi, her resilience to continue to support other wahine, such a big takeaway for me today. So, road, resilience. And the last R is responsibility. Leadership is about taking responsibility, taking that stand and that step up to lead. And for me, through the Rise2020, Rise starts with R. I didn't realize that. You know, stepping into this program and developing my leadership skills through coaching has really helped me see the changes that I can support others in. And the final R, there's actually four. You know, programs like this don't just appear out of nowhere. It comes from vision, it comes from belief, it comes from the desire to support and uplift, empower people to these positions of leadership. So Rachel Pitsero is the final R, which is the foundation and the overarching umbrella for Rise2025. So those are the four things that I'm going to take away today. And my challenge to you Zoomers who are out there zooming in, my challenge is, what are you going to take away today from everything that you've heard, you've seen? Don Mann hit it on the head. You know, we need more of our Indigenous people in these positions of leadership and decision making in whatever sector. And in summary, in closing, and this is no way, my disclaimer is this is my own personal opinion. It's not Rise or anyone else's. You know, I get constantly asked, put on a cultural lens. I've realized over time that we are the culture. We're born with that lens. If anything, we need to put on the Western lens or whatever lens we need to put on to see the bigger picture. But we don't have to put on a cultural lens. We are the culture. So, whafte lava mole avanoa, mole alofa, and kia ora, and over to our amazing Hene Moore.
Saulo. Wow, so articulate, Saulo. And yeah, Rise starts with R. Ka pai. And I love what you have brought to today. And also being the first tāne to graduate. So congratulations, e hoa. It's amazing. And to step into this world, yeah, of many strong, capable, talented, skilled wahine is a big deal. So ngā mihi nui ki a koe. Right, so actually I don't know if I can add too much more to that amazing kind of summary of the day and wrapping up. However, it is my job, I have one more job today, to really take us through to who will be having the last word for today. So, in saying that, I just want to acknowledge you, Rachel Petero, as beautifully as Saulo has done, and your whakapapa, Ngāti Tamaoho, Ngāti Whawhākia, Ngāti Tāhinga, and Ngāti Te Ata. Waikato tainui, he piko, he taniwha, he piko, he taniwha. And yes, Rachel is very accomplished, she's travelled the world. There are so many accolades that we could make right now, but Rachel is going to have the opportunity to end our day, to wrap our day up, together with our amazing, and you'll meet them shortly, interns, Ngā Huia and Te Rina, whom without this day would not have run as beautifully and smoothly. So I want to acknowledge, and they will get more acknowledgement soon. So tēnā kōrua. I could do all those accolades, but what I'd like to do right now is share from a very personal place as I introduce, my best friend. For, we say these days, 20 years plus. That's how we describe our friendship. And what I'd like to say is that ever since, similarly to the story that Kieri Dell shared, when we were teenagers, we had these discussions. We talked about the work that we would be doing in the future together. To firstly, rise up ourselves, and to secondly, take others with us. Indigenous women and men. It's not that we're not there. We just need more of these platforms to share and tell our stories. And we need to increase those numbers. So, what I want to say about this amazing wahine, Rachel, is what I have really enjoyed and leaned into for many years now is her genuine belief, firstly in herself, her genuine belief in herself, and then that same belief in each and every one of us, even when sometimes we didn't have it in that moment. Also her drive to see Indigenous women, men and ways of being rise up and lead in this world. We need it. The other couple of things are very important, especially as wahine. I want to say that my experience with Rise and with Rachel as a friend, she has shown the way by focusing on progress and not perfection. Yeah, it's about the progress. It's not about being perfect. And lastly, it's also not about comparison. It is about the recognition of the authentic and unique gifts, skills, and talents that each of us bring. And as you rise, my friend Rachel Petero, so do we. I want to leave this whakatauki, which I connect to my northern side of Te Rarawa, ahipara. Kia ki te whakapono, aroha tētahi ki tētahi. Believe in your truth. Believe in the skill and the gift that lies deep within you. Ngā taonga tuku iho, that has been left to you. And also love one another. Love each other and support each other in each of our journeys. So thank you for today. I also want to acknowledge the team that is here, and I'm sure those of you who did the programs, our amazing sister Pania Tucker Brown, and the team, which I'm sure you'll hear more about. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Solo. It was fun. Yeah? And did you say go the blues? Ka pai. Kia ora tātou katoa, and nau mai, hara mai, Rachel Petero. Thank you so much. Ai, tēnei te mihi ki a koutou katoa, nei rā te mihi kua mihia ki a koutou mō tō manaaki, mō tō aroha, mō tō tautoko i tēnei rangi. Ai, tēnei te mihi ki te kingi atu hei tia potatau te whirowhiro te tuawhitu me tōna whānau me te whare kāhuariki, pai marire ki a rātou. Ai. Tēnei te mihi ki te haukainga o tēnei whare ko Pacific Media Network, tēnei te mihi ki a koe e Don Man, mō tō awhi, mō tō aroha ki a koutou katoa. Ai. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. It is an absolute privilege to be in this space, first and foremost, on this whenua, the whenua of Waikato Tainui and all of our mana whenua here in the south of Auckland. It is also appropriate to be here in community. It is appropriate for us to recognise that actually all the answers that we are seeking lie and live in community. And so we were so privileged to come into this space. And how did we come to be in this space? And the word that also starts with solo is relationships. And it is the relationships, it is the whakapapa that we all have that will bring us into these spaces that we are meant to be in. And community is a space that coaching is made for. So this word coaching that you may have heard all day, you may have experienced it, you may have not, it's just a word. It's a word that has been formed through sport, and Don will know a lot about that sporting analogy of coaching. And so what do we need when we are becoming the next warrior or the next All Black or the next Silver Fern? We need a coach to help us to get to that taumata where we absolutely see ourselves. And so that's exactly the analogy that we should be using in coaching. Life coaching, business coaching, it's exactly that analogy. Is if you truly want something for yourself, for your whānau, for your communities, it's much easier when you can have someone alongside you to champion you and to get you to where you want to go. And you determine how you get there. So that is what coaching is all about. You know, we haven't quite come up with the Te Ao Māori Pacifica word that we're looking for, but I just really wanted to acknowledge that word because you've heard it a lot today. And what does that actually mean? It means that we now have a beautiful network of Māori and Pacific Indigenous coaches who have been through our training, who are there to support you in your communities. So whether you are Māori, whether you are Pacifica, whether you are Indigenous, whether you are Pākehā, you will get so much value out of our coaches who are now here to support you. So a little bit of whakapapa, and what I know about coaching is we could tell you what it is about, or we could show you, and you could hear what the future looks like in this space. And so yes, I came home in 2015 and I was pretty clear about what I wanted to do when I got home. And that's because I'd been on a journey of 16 years abroad. Prior to that, I had had 10 years of an amazing career in advertising and design in Ponsonby Road. Kia ora to my friends from Origination. And before that, you know, I was a young woman growing up in a very, bicultural world, actually. So my parents, I went to mihi to my mum and my dad first and foremost, Carolyn and David Tucker, who have been my sister and I, Pānia, there's only two of us, They have been our po. And so that's our very small but very whānau focused family that we live here in the west of Auckland. So Hinimoa, who is here today, is true Westie on my left, and then I have Solo over here, true South Auckland, Otara born and bred. So it's been a west versus south day, all day, and we've heard the banter. But actually, you know, my parents came here when they were 16 and 17 years old. Why did they come to Tāmaki Makaurau? Because they had to find mahi. And my mum had me when she was 16. Yeah, so I want to mihi to my parents for going through what they had to go through, to allow Pania and I, and now my nieces and nephews. Pani has 2 boys, 2 girls, and I want to mihi to Tamara, to Wetere, to Rahira, and to Ihaka, my 4 nieces and nephews on that side. I also have this beautiful name, Petro, and that comes from my husband, John Petro. So to my husband, for always supporting me, and my Pacifica family, because John is Tongan, Niuean, and Cook Island, and we got married in Fiji, so I covered it all off with John. So we are, you know, we're a West Auckland family who were given the gift of understanding who you are. Who you are, where you come from, what your tūranga waiwai is, and then going off and finding what we needed to find in the world. So coming back to Aotearoa, this journey has been amazing, and there have been so many people, and I don't have enough time to acknowledge you all, but you know who you are. You've been part of this journey. When you come on the Rise journey, it's a journey for life. The doors are always open whenever you want to come back. And to all of our graduates, from Tahi, from Tōpū, from Hiwa, this is just the beginning. Yeah, I see huge, huge milestones and goals that I know that you will, and successes that you will all have. And so as you go through that journey, just remember to remember those that have come with you, and always take others with you. So I brought in 2 amazing wahine who are really the future. So I'd like to introduce Terina and Ngahuia, who are going to just talk about what the future looks like for them. Because, yeah, I could tell you, but I could also show you. And so, no mai hara mai kōrua, up here in the limelight, I'm going to hand over to you both. Kia ora.
Ka oho te wairua, ka matara te tinana, he aroha ki te aroha, a ka kā te rama.
Kia ora e te whānau, nei te mihi kia koutou katoa, ko Ngahui ahau,
Ko Terina ahau.
he uri tēnei no te aroa.
He uri tēnei no te wharetapu o ngā puhi, me tūhoi tū wharetoa.
This year, both Terina and I have been fortunate enough to be Rise2025's summer interns. How exciting! We are both in our penultimate year, studying at Te Whare Wānanga or Waikato. I myself am working towards a Bachelor of Business, double majoring in both strategic management and human resource management.
And I'm studying towards a Bachelor of Communications with a double major in Public Relations and Human Resource Management. So we'd like to congratulate the graduates of Rise2025 for your achievements, especially with the tumultuous year that we've had.
It's such an empowering and inspiring kaupapa for us to be a part of. As rangatahi, we are the future, so it's important for us to have Indigenous whānau paving the way for us. This therefore creates that generational wealth for us, passing our knowledge to our future tamariki.
So who knows, once Ngahuia and I graduate, maybe in 5 years, we may need to source some of our Rise whānau to awhi us in our future projects. So once again, congratulations.
Although we've only recently joined the Rise2025 team, we have learnt a lot, and we are still yet to learn so much more. And for this, we are very grateful and thankful for this exciting and amazing opportunity led by our amazing mentors. The 2 of us have already had many opportunities to showcase our skills, such as the facilitation of this virtual graduation we have today.
So we'll leave you with this last whakatauki. Mā whiro, mā pango, ka oti ai te mahi. So now we'll pass it back to our MCs. Kia ora.
Kia ora, and go the Maroons.
Ai, tēnā kōrua, te rina, kōrua ko ngā huia. You did indeed facilitate this graduation. Thank you. Without you, it wouldn't have been the same. And now we'd like to hand back to you, e hoa. Kai a koe te wā, Rachel.
Ai, tēnā kōrua ki ngā rangatira o te ao, ko Terina, rawa ko ngā huia. Ai, nei rā te mihi kia kōrua. It is with great pleasure that I get to close our hui today, and I just really would like to finish with another whakatauki, and it is the whakatauki that our rangatira Lee, Luke and Kasna Luke shared with us at the beginning of our day. Ko te whakatauki o te puia hirangi, and it is a beautiful whakatauki that I've carried around the world with me. Mehe mea ka moemoe a hau ko a hau anake. Mehe mea ka moemoe a tātou, ka taia e tātou. If I dream alone. If we all dream together, we shall achieve. Nei rā te mihi, me inoi tātou. Kia tau, kia tātou katoa. Te ata whai o tō tātou āriki a ihu karaiti. Me te aroha o te atua, me te whiwhinga tahitanga ki te wairua tapu, ake, 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 āmeni.